Or as the
Again,
Germans would
Mama.
say, wir sind live.
Yeah, the Germans will also say "Wie geht's?" as it were, and still in the middle of just typing out the thing to like say or go live. Damn it! I should just like really start doing that like whole process like 15 minutes before we go live, so that like I have it all typed out.
And what? I should get all the Zoom call and OBS shit set up? Like, no, fuck you. Fuck you. Stop trying to make me feel bad. I'm a white
No,
guy.
I
I'm
feel
gonna be
bad for
mediocre. I'm
myself.
gonna lean into that.
Yes, you want to be a mediocre white guy. It's like, and this is February, so that means that like it is like a bunch of reactionaries and fascists who's all screaming throughout the entire month. Where's White History Month? It's like, dude, that's every other month, as it were. Or
No, no,
you
I'm
can
pretty
think
sure
that
that's
that's
July. July 4th, Independence Day, White
the
History Month.
the
I'm gonna get a
July
drink. I'll
would
be
be
right back.
White History Month. Yes, and hello, like Lucidia, hello, Joe Glory, hello, the Indigenous Heretics, hello, Georgia P. Georgia P, you're on time this time, and hello, Comrade Ibot. Like, here's the thumbs up. The back and back to my partners at B Day. Have a great day. One, yes, just drop in, say hi, give us a thumbs up, and go back to your partner and enjoy partners at B Day. Yes, enjoy that as a word. That's a lot more fun, and definitely you'll get in trouble if you're not focusing on that and just focus on like a couple of mediocre white people just rambling on about like whatever as it were. I agree that I'm mediocre. I haven't still sent out the tweets yet or like the promotion as it were. Or
I'm
John
just a
Brockman just wants to look.
lazy white boy, baby. Do all my work
Okay,
now, don't say maybe.
I'm not gonna like add anything like more to this. It's just it's Alchemy, just like I'm gonna put this like that, and just like copy the message and like I click on those things, and I'll just have to like not include the tags on the co-host of the Tumblr like posts as well, and then copy all those things like into the thing. So how is that? And here's and now
SJA.
we have this like stream this. What do you say? Alvita say?
A fetusin.
That's
Alvita,
German
yes.
for see
Welcome.
you later.
So now you guys now are now equally balanced. Well, actually, no.
I was about to say that like we have successfully been like at least partially de-whitened, as it were, at this show.
Given
You
how
have
much
been.
influence they've had on culture and what proportion they are on the population, I would think that one black guy is worth like 10 white guys. So, yeah. Now this
I can
podcast
see
is
that.
too black. Shame on you.
Yes. So I just actually reserved tickets now for the 25th the 25th anniversary of Titanic.
Winslet
I will be.
titties.
Yes, Winslet's.
But I'm going to like dress up in one of my outfits.
That's cool. Yeah, I hope you have like a great time there because like yeah, you are a big fan of like the Titanic, and so like not necessarily just because of like Kate Winslet's titties. But because of like a lot of the other things, again, it's a perfect date movie because like for the women, there's the romance part of it, and then for like the guys, it's like Kate Winslet's titties and like the disaster movie. That's also a part of it
Guy
too.
falls off the back of the ship, hits the propeller, and goes wee 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 splash.
Mm.
Well, when I was little, and
Hey, Phoenix.
this was like 1999 or 2000. I really, being autistic, I really had a huge thing for ships,
Yes.
like boats and shit. And I was really into the Titanic, you know. So yeah, I mean, it started from that, and I guess it just continued on. And it was like one of those movies that my mom actually let me watch because my mom was a pretty. I would say my mom was kind of a Karen in a lot of ways. She didn't like rap music. She thought it was the devil's music.
A
She
white
didn't
woman
like
who
Hollywood.
adopted a black kid. I mean, she was like 90% of the way there.
Hmm.
Well, excuse me. Well, black Karens are called Tamikas. That's what I call them.
I have no frame of reference to judge that.
I have no frame reference to just that too. Maybe Phoenix does have some frame references to just that. And yes, you can come on this like show if you feel comfortable to blocking this up the show a lot more as it were. And equally balance the show in terms of black and white. Yes. I learned about the Titanic disaster when I was eight. Yeah, I think it was around the same time when I learned about the Titanic disaster, honestly.
It's like how
But
everybody remembers where they were when JFK got shot, or when they learned that Bambi's mother got shot. Things like that. Where were you when you learned about Titanic?
or the chat. Well, none of us.
Or,
But uh,
or where were you when 9/11 happened? That's where
I was,
frame of reference for was for Tamika being like the equivalent of being
Being the
for
black
Tamika being
equivalent
the
of the
name.
Karen.
Yes.
well, no, I say that because Tamika is kind of like the stereotypical name for a black female.
Mm.
I see.
And when I used to watch reruns of American Idol on YouTube, the very
Mm.
first season, I think like Simon and the judges mispronounced this woman's name. They call her Tamika, but her name was actually Tamika, and she really
Mm.
got like really irate about it. So yeah,
Tamika from Antifa.
right. So black Karens to me are called Tamikas. So yeah, I guess I can make that joke.
Yeah, so I was not gonna like make any joke like that as well. Yes, you are allowed to. You give the white people here give you permission for making that joke. I see. The best part of like watching Kate Winslet's titties is that movie is imagining Gloria Strikes tits as she tells the story.
Yeah, James Stewart definitely fucked Gloria. Or not James Stewart. James Cameron definitely fucked Gloria Stewart. I mean, there's no way.
Enough, that scene really is not as like erotic and sexual as you would think it would be. It's a very
Those were
like
some glorious titties. You shut your mouth.
Is for like me for anyone that has not yet is not yet allowed to see porn yet. That PG-13 like Titanic movie
Remember,
was like
this was
the best thing
96.
we
The
had.
internet was still raw when it came to porn. You had to
Yeah.
wait for JPEGs to load line by line, and sometimes they didn't.
Mhm.
actually
And
19
and also many like the porn sites you had to pay to like get them. Yeah, you'll get like some like images for free, but like that's just to entice you to pay for the
And to
service.
find it,
We
you
were
had to
not the.
use web crawler.
Mhm.
What
Back
about
then,
Netscape?
searching the internet was like trying to use
Yeah.
Google today. Google sucks now.
Everyone remembers Netscape, right?
I remember Netscape. Yes, I do
Mhm.
remember Netscape. Evening, Mithro, how you doing? I think it was like at 12 or 13 when I learned about it because I think of like how old I was when the movie came out. Yeah, so I'm glad you read that out loud. Yes, now that courage image is all in our head, Joe. Yes,
Funny
exactly.
enough, if I knew a girl on Instagram and she really liked my like art stuff, and
That's
she
cool.
likes Titanic too, but she lives in West Palm Beach, but I live in Tallahassee, so I could have
Mm.
said let's do a date night, but she hasn't. I think she stopped talking to me for some reason.
How? Okay, so take it from me. Sometimes I'm be like, oh, I should have like replied to that person, but I'll do that later. And later it becomes like a few days, a week, or a month, and several months or so. And then I'm just like, then in my head is like, I want to reply to something that person said like 6 months ago, but I feel awkward doing so. And stop rapidly silent.
Don't you tell us to stop, Mithril. We never stop.
Yes, Mithril. I honestly, yeah, it's not a great movie. I agree, Mithril. It was a very overrated movie. I think even then,
I liked it. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Yeah,
But see,
you're going into cosplay to a Titanic reunion movie. We get it.
hold
Or
on.
sorry, not
But
reunion.
see,
Anniversary.
but see,
Yeah.
that's the weird thing about me and like people with movies because everyone like there's people who love that movie and then there's people who hate it for like there's reasons not to like it, I
It was
guess. If I
oversaturated.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's melodramatic, I guess. But I feel like that's the only way to tell a movie like that
No, I meant
because
that it was just everywhere in '98. It
Yeah.
was just you couldn't get away
Yeah.
from it.
Sure.
this. I mean, if it, like it grows
Nonsense.
over $1 billion, is in conversation and to be like one of the top ranking grossing like movies of all time. It's in the discussion. It won 11 like Oscars, including Best Picture. James Cameron just like even like parodied himself by saying, "I'm king of the world" at the Oscar stage after winning Best Picture. So it's just like, yeah, and it took a long time for like Leonardo DiCaprio to like get over the fact that like he's a pretty boy before many of us that always thought of him as the guy from Titanic, the pretty boy. It was like, oh shit, no, he's actually a good actor, as it were. Now, granted, he didn't finally win his Oscar until he got mauled by a bear. But that's because he did not like campaign for like winning an Oscar or doing all the things he had to like win an Oscar for like his role in like Django Unchained and other like roles like that. So yeah.
One thing that
Yeah.
hasn't changed is the age of the women that Leonardo DiCaprio was dating then and now.
Oh, that I did not know about, and just like no, yeah, no kinds, no masters. Yes, exactly. Or I think you mean no kings. But yes, the whole super. It's the more. Let's see. It's boring. Then again, romances aren't really my like kind of thing. I agree.
Yeah.
This
I
conversation.
mean, it's definitely a movie.
This conversation will go on. Oh God, Jeff,
Not for everyone. It's not for everyone, that's for sure. But
Yes. Hello, David. You're finally here. Hey, I agree, Phoenix. What the fuck was that? I was just like, I think it was like the kazoo version of like that song. I don't know.
It was
It,
it was a cover. Yeah, I just clicked the first thing
it's
that came up on Google.
if you're going to kill someone, make sure it's just like a British aristocracy or something like that. I'm sure you got plenty of lists to go there, but don't do it to domestic terrorism. And I should not encourage that either because of Starfleet Revelation 46A. And my took my sisters and I to go see the movie theaters. Yeah, it's good parenting, mom and dad. Well, yeah, the more I write about like people being in relationships, that's the most important part. Yeah, the whole stupid romanticism about the Titanic it bores me to other. I agree, and yes, Joey did just return. Titanic's one of the whitest movies
I was going to
ever,
suggest
too.
that British go aristocrat hunting during fox hunting season, but it's illegal in England, Scotland, and Wales.
Yes,
But it is
very
still
important.
legal in Northern Ireland. So, field trip. Because nothing could
No,
go
no,
wrong
that's-
with killing
that's all-
people in Northern Ireland.
No trouble, so speak up,
No,
right?
I will lend my support for the Irish getting their independence. So
I mean,
I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm not gonna say anything,
Well, it was predicted in Star Trek, in Star Trek Next Generations of the Irish unification. I think in 2024. Or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And didn't they get close to that with their the Sig what's it called?
Sinn Féin?
I-
Sinn Féin, yes, the Sinn Féin party with the
No, because Sinn Féin was a bunch of Muslim terrorists. Duh. Okay, not Muslim, Catholic.
Mhm.
But yeah, there was really no chance that Sinn Féin, the British government would never have allowed Ireland ruled by Sinn Féin.
yeah.
Sorry, not
Mhm.
ruled, governed. It's a democracy.
Except Betty White is character in the Golden Girls. She's is valid as fuck. There you go. Yeah, yeah.
Don't forget Rose
The
from Doctor
best-
Who.
Oh yeah. There you go.
She was a chap.
Mhm. Yeah, there's a bunch of rich mofos who make sure that poor people die. Exactly.
They're not
I
usually
wanna
so
write
blatant
more.
about it, are they?
Yeah, they're not. I don't think I've asked this question so far. So, how is everyone doing? Relatively speaking, of course.
I'm
Seven.
good.
Uh,
My
I have
room,
to-
my roommates got evicted, and we're cleaning up the apartment now.
nice.
And the meth smell is gone.
Good.
Mhm. Good. I actually kind of like just happened to notice this in on my paycheck, my pay stub actually, because like they have direct deposit. I did get a pay raise. I went from $18. Oh, wait, I actually have my current pay stub right here. I won't show it.
Oh,
on,
look
like,
at the
the
petty
stream.
bouge about to show off.
Yeah.
I went from $18.28 so like almost 29 cents, but it's 28 cents. I don't know why the 47 is a penny, but so, but I went from 18.2847 to 18.69 nice dollars an hour. So it's $18.69 an hour. Nice.
So you
So I
got
got
a
a raise.
slightly more than a 40-cent raise.
It's yes, 40 cents more. That's probably the same amount of like raise I got last year if I did get a raise last year. So
So
it's just like
so now are you ready to are you now ready to accept your capitalist oppressors, geek?
so basically if I still work the same
You
amount
can
I
feel yourself
usually
getting more conservative by the day.
Right.
I am white too, so there's always that possibility. Um run by centimeters, ruler. I think if Julie was here, then let her oh no, she would have like the angry face and the heart emoji for that one as well.
How is our good friend Leto doing? Leto, excuse me.
I think she's. I don't know exactly. It's been a while,
Hey, bacon.
David. It's been a while since you've been here, and like you finally got muted for like your puns were. And hello, Radical Bacon. For the last general inflation was about like 12%
Yeah.
over the last year. Yeah, exactly. I even like did the math. If I worked my regular kind of like hours, which include like coming in on Saturdays, if I can improve for that, and working 10 hours each weekday, something like that. Yeah, I'm just going to get a take home pay. So that's after the taxes and everything else that's taken out. I'm just making $60 more for 2 weeks of work for like 114 hours? No, 214 hours in those 2 weeks.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Nope.
So I know we all don't like capitalism on this in this podcast,
Yes.
but what how would you say if someone like Beyonce like paid a bunch of poor people's rent? How would you feel about that?
That doesn't make up for the fact that she's still using slave labor.
And this is also the thing. This is the big thing about like Mr. Beast's like content. Again, I never heard of whatsoever, but he apparently has over 100 million like subscribers on YouTube as it were. And I didn't know he existed until he was showed up in the game Fortnite as it were. But that's apparently what Mr. Beast has done online. And so this recent video that he pointed out of like where he just like apparently there's a lot of people that go blind or have some kind of like a blindness as it were, and yet their blindness can be cured because they all they need is just like a 10-minute procedure with a specialist doctor as it were, and the money to pay for that procedure. And it's like the tens of thousands of people suffer from this and could easily be able to see if they have this surgery. And Mr. Beast is like, that's like terrible. So then the Mr. Beast being more of a philanthropist, not a charity. I'll make the distinction after the point. Did actually pay for all of these people's like procedures to be able to see again as well. They probably will still struggle with being able to see because like there's the thing where it's just like if your brain doesn't have the mental like memory banks for like all the visuals that you see growing up as it were, then like things will still be like see as it were. I do know that like someone who was blind since like 3 still it doesn't have like the 50 years of like a visual memory that like someone who's like be able to see so since 3 that he would have. So he would still have to carry with King. But no so Hassan Habib has seen that and still kind of criticizes the system of capitalism, not necessarily Mr. Beast in specifically with his philanthropy. I don't know much about Mr. Beast. I don't know how he gets his wealth, but like I'm thinking like also my friends Quinn and like Nasty Neko has also criticized like Mr. Beast entirely because like they and Mr. Beast kind of like did respond to the comments that like Hassan Bean said, and Hassan Bean's one of those big like left twitchers, streamers as it were, and he responded to criticisms. I think Mr. Beast is like heart's in the right place, where he's like, yeah, this is ridiculous that like tens of thousands of people will go blind, and like all they need is just this one surgery to be able to see it again. And Mr. Beast's answer is like, governments should pay for people's like aim to be able to see, and I'm like, we'll go into our criticisms of the state, because like I just don't trust this government to be able to do that. This government is going to keep people like bored and scared and like unfunded and like they're not without health care so long as like health insurance companies can make profits of people suffering. Um, but like yeah, hey, like, yeah, you meant in fact, okay, yeah, there's no ethical way to get healthy short of like winning the lottery, and even that is questionable. Yes, exactly. Indigenous heritage, and the thing about the lotteries, all those like state governments and like local governments, or even that like say, oh, yeah, the
It's
lottery
just
fund
another
is to...
regressive tax.
Yes,
A tax
exactly.
on the poor.
Yes, and they say, "Oh, this is going to fund like schools constructions and all that stuff too." And when they introduce like a lottery or scratch tickets into like the state, they say it's going to alleviate property taxes, as it were. It never does. It's just another way for the state to make money, essentially. And as people would say with the lottery, because like even just winning $1 back, the odds are 1 in 7 overall. So you have to spend $7 to win $1 back, essentially. If assuming all things goes well. Is so that's why the lottery is always like a tax on the people who are not good at math. And I am a gambler. I play poker. I understand the odds. Um, yeah,
I just think sometimes playing lottery is fun because it's like what if I do win something? You know,
You won't.
but so I will say, so like my issue with like Beyonce or Mr. Beast just giving money, this goes
They're not
into
solving the
I
problem.
see.
They're just making themselves
Mhm.
look good.
This is the thing. This is the distinction between
sure.
philanthropy and charity, as were. Justin Clark on one of his like on one of the red reviews with like Corey Johnson, has like they made the distinction. Someone doing charity will be someone like me. I'm just giving money that I earned to like Phoenix, and this is a good opportunity to like drop Phoenix's like a GoFundMe link and like Cash App and Vimeo info in the chat. Charity links that page as well. I'm giving my money to like my friends so that they can buy food or buy whatever they need, buy cat litter, buy supplies, buy like toiletries, buy clothes or something like that. Or even if it's just like they want dopamine and they want something fun. Here, buy this video game is like. Here, buy.
I don't think I'll ever ask you to help me get. Not saying like anything. Again, I just don't. I don't know.
Well, and some people, I know that like some people feel that kind of the weirdness of like asking people for help because like it's like indoctrinated with like internalized capitalism. I need to like rely on myself. I don't want to rely on others. And Linequin has like stated on their stream a couple of times. It's like they underplay the situation that them and their spouse Nasneko is in of how little food they have. Um, and so because shame, that shame of being poor, that shame of not being like self-reliant as it were, and also Lidoquin has been open about this on their streams as well, that like they hate that like they can't work because of their disability, and it's again internalized ableism. They know this, they're anarchists too, but like they can't help it, and it's work, yeah, trauma from like the friends or family or upbringing that they had. Again, to someone else entirely, but like someone was had no money whatsoever for food. Had the bills paid, but didn't had anything left over for food and it was out of money for food on Monday. Asking, and even then, and wasn't going to get paid until Friday, and had no food in his apartment. Even then, he did not want to ask people for help because he felt that like that would be him admitting that he is weak or like a
I
sign of
don't
weakness.
mind. I don't mind asking for help at all. I just like I wouldn't ask you. Could you help me? Could you give me like $45 to buy this hat? Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't ask that because you don't really need that per se. At least that's how I see it. I don't mind asking people for help at all. There's a saying that I heard on like a radio station that said tough times don't last, but tough people do. That's why we have each other. So I don't mind asking people for help. I wouldn't ask you for like something that's trivial if I don't like need it for my survival. You know what I mean?
Here's the interesting thing. years ago, Joanna Roberts was like putting a GoFundMe basically for a new computer. She's actually, and believe it or not, she's actually a computer nerd. And so, like, if I wanted like help on like figuring out what computer parts to like get or how to like install certain parts, I can ask her somewhere. But I got also many friends that can help with that, including JJ, who like gave me some computer parts, including a graphics card I still have not installed in my computer. I think the don't know where the cords are, and honestly, to plug it in. But she did actually put together a GoFundMe to get a new computer. That eventually did get funded. She has a new computer with like a lot of good specs and can play the latest video games because it is honestly like self-care is not selfishness. It's
Sure.
like
Yeah.
self-preservation. And so, and that's why also like sometimes like Quinn kind of feels guilty for asking for things for fun or spending money that like is received for frivolous things like skins and Fortnite as before. But so whenever I would give them money, but look with the message of like use it for whatever you want or need and something like that, she knows that like I don't care how you spend this money, it's your money now. You spend it how you want to, and so she always likes to see that permission to be able to spend it on whatever else. I had a comrade that saw it, and we all know the situation where someone did give money to like a homeless person, someone that was begging for money outside like a grocery store or something like that. But then that person's giving money. Hey, MC, how you doing? It would say, don't spend this on booze or something like that because a judgmental thing is just like I don't want to give money to a homeless person, they'll just spend it on booze or drugs or something like that, to which then my comrade, my friend, saw that and he doesn't make a lot of money. No, he's on like benefits too, but like he did give that person, that homeless person, money. Here you go, here's a 20, do spend it on booze if you want to, because like yeah, why is like I'm giving the money to the person, I have to make a moral judgment on what they spend it on? Why do I have to dictate what they spend the money on? It's like but
Because
I
it's
think there is
capitalism.
some
If you have money, you get to be in charge of people.
yeah, but like there is some importance of like recreation things, of video games, of like anime or even skins of Fortnite, of that dopamine as it were. So like that's why
They would just say you should just get a job afforded that, so
yeah.
you already know what these people are going to say, so it's not even worth even like try to convince them otherwise. So
Yeah, or they or even like uh I'm not sure if she's been public about like this kind of statement, but she does occasionally get money from like her mother or so. But then she would get like the moralizing story of like this is why you should save your money. And says it's like no, it's impossible for someone to if someone in poverty to save the money when it's like their expenses like $2,000 and what they receive from the government is only $1,400. So they're always at like a negative like net
And if they get a
600.
job, they lose that assistance. And they can't get a
Yes.
job that pays all their bills. So they're fucked.
Yes. I mean, like, and what people have asked Lincoln, they're well-meaning. They're trying to help when they hear Lincoln's situation, Lincoln and Nasaneko situation. And by the way, if you're wanting to like help Lincoln and Nasaneko directly for whatever reason, their information is in shared links on page. You can also go to their Twitch channels as well. Twitch.tv/Nasaneko and Twitch.tv/Lincoln as well. But like so like when I go on food stamps, like no, they look into that where they are now in Indiana, and that if they go on food stamps, the Nasneco will receive less money from her SSI. So like already some aspects of Andrew Yang's like a UBI plan is in effect in some way, where it's just like, oh yeah, it's like it's messed up. They probably could have gone on food stamps if they were still in Minnesota, but they had to leave Minnesota because of like discrimination, as it were. Now, again,
Now,
someone
they don't
like in front
discriminate
of
up there. They're very polite.
no, yeah, it's the passive aggressiveness of like of Minnesota.
Minnesota
They
nice.
fire Minnesota nice. They fired a whole firebomb of my passive aggressive Minnesota nice at the police station during the uprising after George Floyd's murder. Uh, but look, no, it's
Well,
just
that was the
like
black people, the immigrants, the ones who aren't native, the ones who don't belong, the outside agitators, the Jews.
no,
Let's be honest, it's the Jews.
yeah, no, they're still no, seriously, the outside they're like myth is still being pervasive, like in
Oh yeah,
like the
they just don't call
Atlanta.
them that anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but before I like go on a tangent on that topic, as it were, one thing, so the distinction between like charity and philanthropy. Charity is usually like the poor people spreading, sharing around the same $100 bill amongst each other. As where philanthropy is like the Bill Gates other thing, the Bill Gates Foundation, or any other like
Charity
charity,
is
or
helping
any other.
people. Philanthropy is helping yourself by pretending to help other people.
Exactly, because like, especially since like most of the time said the philanthropist said like anyone that's like a super already billionaire, so we're doing that. They're doing it for tax breaks, honestly, and for good PR as well, because
Hmm.
like there's a lot of criticisms for the Bill Gates and Melinda Gates Foundation as well as how they control how medical research is done too, and then there's also the problem is just like they are not challenging the system that they profit from and benefit from. They're just like do giving a handout essentially. Hey, nothing that they'll do is going to like I know I'm not in Portland per se. I'm north of Portland, in Seattle, in the Seattle area. So it's just like and Seattle and Portland are pretty much the same thing. They're both on water, same kind of like people, same kind of like culture, as it were.
Hipsters
Hippy dippy
surrounded
kind
by
of.
Nazis.
Yes, that is very true in like Seattle as well. Because Eastern Washington and any other rural place in Washington State, yes, it is very rural. The white supremacists settled here in the Pacific Northwest as well.
They wanted to get away
The
from the
sort
brown people, so they moved to the place where they hadn't yet finished genociding the native brown people.
they did their best though. They did their best for sure. In the treaties, like Slipman's like signed in this region is where the great state of Phoenix moves definitely have the working class pressure to 1% in philanthropy, whether like it or not. Yeah. Well, it's infuriating and how much means testing sucks. It costs like more than it saves, and it's also just the biggest this assignment for like the loss in the system as were.
Hmm.
Both burned to the ground by Antifa. Yes,
You know,
yes,
we should
we
just give
Antifa.
everybody, let's see, free food, free clothes, free housing, free healthcare, free education. What else might they need? Yeah, let's throw in porn.
Porn, that's who wants it, as it were. And the thing is, like, you got to be an
The people's
opt in,
porn.
not an opt out. Yes, the people's porn. Because and that's where it's just like some kind of foreign entertainment. I do think it's also important too. All these access to that sort of thing. Some kind of like Netflix, even though Netflix is doing terrible, honestly. I think like they're starting. What from what I heard, it's just like I canceled my Netflix subscription already
They're
because
moving
of
to a
like
thing
there's.
where they're going to make it so that you can't share passwords.
Yes, it is. But also they're going to be suspicious of users that are logging in from the normal IPs or from no region. So if you're traveling for some reason and you want to go on to like someone else's computer and watch some Netflix, as it were, they'll mark that suspicious. And could I don't know if this has happened already, but they have like used that as a way to like block password sharings as it were. So yeah, they're going to like hurt themselves more in the long run trying to crack down on password sharings by like anyone using VPNs or like anyone that's trying to like make it seem like or just happen to be traveling to somewhere else and log in from another IP or do that often enough, they're going to be suspicious and probably like ban the account or cancel the account as it were. Um, yeah. Uh, so uh, I think I talked enough about like all those like connected topics as it were. Yeah,
So
you
let's talk
wanted to like
about the atheist community.
okay, yeah, so we'll go with that
I
direction
mentioned
then.
this
Yes.
last week that Sharon Frankel had let loose a bit of a spoiler on what was to come. But Religion News published an article talking about how various people were getting let go from the, or no, sorry, they were stepping down from the board of
Hmm.
directors from American Atheists. One being Mandisa Thomas, who the news had
Mm.
broken back in December that she was apparently some kind of an asshole and
Mm.
had done something bad on a cruise, and she was not stepping down from black non-believers, but a lot of leadership of black non-believers was stepping down. We don't know Um, I haven't been able to find out exactly what happened, but
Mm-hmm.
she apparently is bad. The other person
Yeah.
stepping down though is Andrew Torres of Opening Arguments,
Yep.
who it turns out is a sex pest.
Yep.
Who loves to transgress boundaries and then walk it back and pretend that, oh, I was joking, unless you wanted it to be okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Basically, multiple women and femmes have come forward saying that he was aggressively flirty and asking for nudes and,
Mm.
some points, unwanted physical contact.
Mm.
Sharon Frankel of Habeas Humor said that she felt pressured into sex. Sometimes she was able to talk him off, and sometimes she gave in.
Mm.
Um, so he stepped down from the Board of American Atheists, and he's stepped away from any public appearances or participation in opening arguments for the foreseeable future. And um, he has vaguely hinted at the possibility of legal action. Maybe, maybe not. Because people have receipts. Uh, that's one of the great
Yeah.
things about this modern age we live in, is that people have text messages, both
Yep.
from him and from when they reported it. So the question became for, let's see, that this occupied a significant chunk of a little podcast universe. The Puzzle and
Mm.
the Thunderstorm people, who do Scathing Atheists, the Skeptocrat, uh,
Okay.
Awful Movies, the Cog Diz
Mm.
guys, who also do a podcast with
Mm-hmm.
Puzzle guys, Citation Needed.
Citation needed. Yep.
But of course, also Thomas Smith, who does opening arguments with Andrew, who also used to do Philosophers in Space with Andrew
Seriously.
Rabinowitz.
Oh yeah. Right. Right.
But he stepped away from that, and now Callie Wright, who is awesome. She's the
Okay.
podcast version of Jessie Ginder, for those who don't know her. Them, don't know
Okay.
them.
Cool.
Um,
Okay.
um,
Be on Jesse
you're right,
Jenner's.
Emily. Giving in is not consent. Um,
I agree. Yeah.
mhm.
As and Thomas Smith also. I
He
think he
also
still does
does
serious
serious
reports.
inquiries only with Lindsay Osterman.
Okay.
But that hasn't updated since December. And since all of this stuff broke at the end of November, it's Andrew Torres, the lawyer talking guy from Opening Arguments, Jordan.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yet I don't know if the failure to update serious inquiries only is because of the Andrew thing being upsetting to Lindsay, or if yes, I know you don't like your comb. These
What's these being all cute and
or
needy
if
and
it's
wants
because that
pets?
was also around the time that Thomas had his third baby. Um,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So the question has been who knew what when, and people have
Yeah.
reported Andrew going back for years.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
so,
what I understood as
so the
well.
When I hear the
puzzle
when
guys
I hear
knew
the
stuff back in like 2017, 2018, and
Yeah.
Thomas also knew, um,
Yeah.
going back 2017. And
Mm-hmm.
he and Andrew apparently had a pretty big, really big argument that almost blew up the podcast. At the very beginning, over it.
Mm.
Um, and um, a lot of people. I mean, it's obviously this sort of thing has gotten very acrimonious and divided within the community. People coming
Yes.
forward saying, "Believe women, I'm canceling all subscriptions and not listening to any of the podcasts ever again," and other people saying, "No, no, no, we need to give these people time to come forward and make their official statements. This is a difficult time for them."
Hmm.
And a twist that might surprise you. Thomas released a thing. Let's see, I can
Hmm.
actually get the link for this.
Yep.
It's just a quick 12-minute Hoosier thing. Here is the link. That also includes screenshots from tweets he sent to his wife back in 2021, saying that Andrew also made him uncomfortable
Mm.
with physical contact that he didn't like. And it's a 12-minute thing that is Thomas is really emotional in it. He's crying for most of it. About being upset about thinking about this, and also the fact that he thinks he failed in supporting women the way he needed to be supported.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least there's that. Yeah.
Mhm. So, there's Sasha. You were hiding under the bed. You weren't sleeping on the cat tree. So this has been pretty unpleasant. But Andrew is being held to account. There is one thing that some people might take as a mitigating circumstance or something, which I don't think so. Namely that the common factor for Andrew's misconduct is that it is something that happened whenever he was at conferences, or it happened basically over text message or Facebook Messenger really late at night. Meaning he was almost always drunk when this was happening.
Talking about Andrew Tate?
No, Andrew Torres.
Okay.
Andrew Tate's such a complete asshole. He's not
Oh yeah,
in
there's
jail,
no
honestly.
defense for him. There's
Yes.
not really there's no defense for Andrew either.
Yeah.
Andrew
Whether it's like
may
because
have
of
a
alcohol
drinking
or anything
problem.
like that. Yeah.
And regardless, the fact that he behaves inappropriately while drunk, the fact that he's drunk doesn't in any way excuse it. Just like
Yes, exactly.
you drink and drive, it's not an excuse.
Yeah.
So basically, it looks like Andrew Torres may be done in atheist podcasting and conferences and so on.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't pull a Louis C.K. and just show up at some point in the future. Andrew also did another podcast, Clean Up on Aisle 45, talking about the legal fallout of the Trump presidency with another fellow attorney and former government attorney, I want to say, AG. I don't remember her actual name. For a long time, she just went by her initials, AG.
Okay, yeah.
Who, as soon as the news came out, she officially severed all ties in an official statement and so on.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
For other podcasts, it's a little bit more complicated because there's actual business relationships and so on. Like for the Puzzle Guys, Andrew is their lawyer and a part owner of the business.
Yeah.
And then for Thomas, obviously he's the co-owner of Opening Arguments. And that's a huge chunk of Thomas's income, and he has 3 kids, so that puts him in a tough spot.
Yeah. Yeah. So this came up on like Ask Away because like Two Feet ID was like asking a lot of questions as to were in I kind of like said to do 55 AD is just like and like Steve Jobs pretty much say the same thing. If you still want to support those podcasts or like be a patron of like those things as it were, that's up to you. Because I think it's like he recognizes the terribleness of like Andrew's actions. DD is not like a proof of Andrew's actions, and what's also kind of like a icky to me is how like many knew since 2017 and hasn't said anything until the other resources forced a hand and said like, oh yeah, I'm kind of like new since 2017, or it came out that they knew since 2017. And yet
for Thomas, as I understand, the person who came forward asked him to confront Andrew, didn't ask him to do anything public or to sever ties with him.
Okay.
That's the understanding I have about that. Thomas and the Puzzle Guys were made aware of something in 2018. I don't know what the person there asked for. Probably just, again, confront Andrew, make him back off.
Yeah.
And then I think 2020 was the next time somebody came to anyone about that.
I see.
And then Aaron Rabinowitz, excellent ally, became the public face of this back at the end of November when people came to him at QED. Basically, people were saying, I'm so glad Andrew isn't here. And Aaron was like, what? And said, oh, I will go talk to American Atheists for you if you want. And they said, yes, please. Um,
Hmm.
and so that's when all of this started happening.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's maybe it's like a kind of thing where it's just like when like can I don't so going into like comparing to like other instances of this sort of thing happening like in the anime and like convention sort of thing, Vic Mignogna, who did a lot worse things and did more frequently as it were, um is bringing women up to, and girls up to his like hotel rooms as it were, and even one time sisters. They he was his actions were so bad that he got banned from some conventions. Other conventions would like have on the walkie-talkies for the staff code Vic as it were so I wonder if like a similar thing was like with Andrew Torres would be that kind of thing where it's just like or like Lawrence Krauss as were. I wonder if like atheist conventions were like or conferences were kind of aware of like the misgivings of like those like guesses were and like it took actions of not inviting certain people because of that. I don't know, or maybe it's because like the severity of like what Andrew Torres has done is not to the point where it's just like. But again, it's more like with like how Aaron Rose found out. It's that people's like glad Andrew's not here because of what they have known of what Andrew has
Mm,
done. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so the Whisper Network, I mean, was going around about Andy.
Hmm.
Various people, like, she goes by Maddie Love on Facebook, um, one of the hosts of the Sis Are Getting Out of Hand podcast, had known about this and had
Okay. Yeah.
made comments about it and gotten some unpleasant pushback from people that she felt was
Hmm.
unfair and unwarranted. Um,
Hmm.
but, I mean, this is the first I'd heard about it, but I mean, absolutely agree. Wish I could do anything to support them besides just unsubscribing.
Hmm. Yeah. Lady
Oh,
Lucidia.
sorry, Lascivia.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. That's yeah. Do what you need to do.
So yeah. If anyone's like these listen to these kind of like networks of podcasts, actually some of them I still have on like my podcast tracker, but I'm finally catching up on my podcast. I only got like Bluetooth earbuds for my cell phone,
Cutting out
and
opening
now I'm
arguments will
working.
make it easier for me to catch up.
My issues with like opening arguments and serious inquiries only from what I listen is that it's the politics as it were,
Yeah, they're super
and
liberal.
Shador's and yes, they're very liberal and almost condescending to like socialists or like anyone to the left of them as were, and no, not willing to understand whatsoever. So, um, is so. And so this no thing is just like uh another sex pest in the atheist community, and more to the list. There's Lawrence Krauss.
But
There's
the
like
thing is that unlike religious, we do take some action. We make it public, and we don't just
yep.
shuffle them away. Sometimes.
Oh
Mm.
yes, like we're not
um,
the Catholic Church.
yeah.
Still some
The
issues
situation
on
is
some.
kind of confused as to who knew what when, but
Yeah.
like Eli's reputation is kind of taking a hit. Um,
Yeah.
uh, Emptying my school library.
Oh no, Mithril. John Brockman is not like Ron DeSantis or anything like that,
No.
or just like yeah. We can talk about
No,
that
no, I
too.
will
If we
definitely cancel all the white men from the school library.
That's a banned list books I don't have a problem with. It just
As,
sticks to.
as someone who lives in Florida, I can confirm
But
Ron
this actually does
DeSantis.
make an excellent segue to what Zaya wanted to talk about. Namely, the
It's,
Don't Say Black efforts that Ron DeSantis is
Oh
pushing.
yeah, essentially it's don't say black. Yeah.
The
I don't know.
anti-Black History Month bill, or whatever he's.
I,
yeah.
I don't really know what to say. I mean, obviously it's horrible. Um, I I guess we need to be more militant and standing up to this. That's kind of what I'm saying.
Oh,
it's kind of
militant
like
black man. You're just gonna go full Malcolm X and start killing Whitey. Okay, okay, I get it. Way to overreact.
That's not true. That's not what it says. Say don't, and John Brockman do not do it since that's a terrorism as it were. Remember, Sergeant 46A, no uncoded messages over open channels. But like, so this is I think like someone we talked to in the past, like Dana Cole, she's a public teacher as well in Georgia of all places too. So it's like, okay, maybe it's slightly better than Florida, but like not by much, honestly. And she's in a district where like Marjorie Taylor Greene is their representative currently. Yeah, so that's the thing, and she got reelected too, I think. And so she's often has like unfortunately for her, being like public teacher as well, public school is like things that she says that can be like be detrimental to her. So she sometimes has to be like quiet about like certain things. It's not like she's teaching like about like anarchism in her school. She teaches English for one thing.
How,
But like
how is Dana Cole dealing with this whole situation?
I don't know. I haven't
No
like
idea.
asked her as well. And no idea. And like I don't think she mentioned anything about this in the Ask Way, but I guess this hasn't come up in the Ask Way yesterday or on Friday. But like but it is be one thing is like for teachers, especially since many of them probably are in like teaching and teaching in public schools because love doing that. You're not going to public school teaching for the money, no. And so like but like if you do like try to like stand up against like yeah these terrible laws and terrible rules for like Ron DeSantis, who's honestly trying to like out fascist Trump right now,
Yeah.
as
Well,
is 2023. So yes, some have already announced their like the campaigns for elections for like the president race and like 2024, as it always starts again, because yes, our presidential election races basically are 2 years running honestly now.
I don't think it's gonna really help him get to the White House, though.
Who knows at this point? It's way too early to predict too.
I mean,
uh
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Trump was out there saying, "Hey, you can't investigate me. I'm running for the White House." And Merrick Garland's like, "Okay, special counsel, whatever. Go fuck yourself."
Yes, I agree there. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ron DeSantis is out here saying, "Nope, you're not allowed to teach that Black History class." And hey, College Board, go ahead and get rid of all the black stuff from AP US History. Thanks.
Yeah, it's just like I don't even think he has. Does he even have the power to do that as a governor? As it were, maybe it's like
He
a
can put
public
pressure on
universe.
them. He can
Yeah,
do
he definitely
regulatory
put
stuff.
pressure
He can
on them.
probably just make their lives miserable in various ways, and
Mhm.
because it's a well, a purple state, which means
Yeah.
that de facto it's red.
Yeah, exactly.
At least because of gerrymandering shit. He
I
probably
I know
Yes.
has.
I know
They
people
can cut
saying like
funding and shit.
I should probably leave Florida, but I'm actually
That's
where I need to be actually.
Right, exactly. That's whenever, like, and this is something that we had mentioned before. Other people mentioned in places because, like, some liberals would go on like Twitter and say, "Oh, something terrible is happening in the Deep South." Good, because there are a bunch of like racist, fascist people there and stuff. Like one thing, racist, fascist people are everywhere in the USA, not just the Deep South. And the thing about like just like cutting off the Deep South, saying we should like segregate from them is a war. It's just like no, there's plenty of black and brown people and marginalized people that are in those places because that's where they're born, that's where they spawned, essentially.
There are
And
more
so,
Democrats in Texas than there are in South Carolina, Georgia, and Arkansas combined.
and there's a lot more Republicans in California than anywhere else.
Mm.
Yes, because like in a way, all the states are kind of like purple, but like I do agree with your statement that like any state that right now is de facto purple is essentially red because like that's where things green. Texas is always going to be red because of gerrymandering things as well. Florida's another case because of like how strict they are about like citizens that were felons trying to get their rights to vote again, as it were. All this stuff that Rick Scott did before Ron DeSantis as well. Rick Scott was terrible enough as well, and now they're just like Ron DeSantis is just like trying to outdo Rick Scott, which is an achievement in itself, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's so. Yeah, that's it. Definitely, I say I don't have a problem with if you want to say in like a Florida because again, you're near the Kennedy Center. You love that kind of stuff,
Yeah,
and like
yeah, and then I mean,
Steal a spaceship and fly it in. Nope, nope, nope. Not gonna finish that sentence.
yeah. Well, like there's people like Dusty Smith that lives in Mississippi, and he, like we, because if we leave those places, then they win. That's like
Mm.
one vote. That's like one part of the. That's like one like no. You gotta be like you gotta be the resistance. You can't just leave.
Right.
You know.
I, I was like asking it was like years ago I was in a voice call on Discord with a bunch of my other comrades and someone was like who's was from Sweden but then moved to Argentina and because they said that like they have like moved out as were that like we as people in the US shouldn't move out as well. The US is a lost cause. Just move out as it were. There was a New Zealander in the voice call, but like remained silent because it does. It's about like the Swedish person was like telling the people in America in the USA to move out the USA, and so she did not like engage in that conversation whatsoever. But yet for all of us that were from the USA, we were kind of saying one, many of them were disabled, and so no. Disabled people cannot move out of the USA.
No.
Trying to immigrate to another country, even like Canada or New Zealand, is difficult as well. Some are more difficult than others, like Iceland is very difficult, but like if you're
Well,
disabled,
Canada is easy. Well, I could say it's easy because I can just drive up there. I don't know.
but like,
New Zealand is across way across
Well,
the
the thing is,
fucking.
it's easy to visit Canada. Even with
yes,
Canada, you'd have to get a visa to live there long term,
yes.
and getting
And
a
the thing
visa
about those
is a
visas,
challenge. You have to get a
yes,
job and then apply for a visa. Basically, your employer would have to sponsor you.
yes, and also, even still, if you get that visa, you have to spend like 72 hours in the USA from last I knew. Because it's how I knew this because like many poker players, online poker players did actually up and leave and like go across to Canada to play online poker as it were. Or then I don't know how like that kind of like works out for like trying to improve your income of poker playing. Maybe it's easier for some successful online poker players to do so as well. But like you
Well,
know,
what with all the drinking they do at games, probably the healthcare helps,
yeah,
and
there's
they have
also
to keep
that too.
themselves in baseball hats and sunglasses.
Oh yeah, there's that too. But also in Canada, you just have to be like 19 to or to start playing those casinos because like you have to be 21 in the USA because of drinking laws as well, and you have to be like 21 to like be in like in a bar essentially, that sort of thing. Yeah, I feel sad for Dusty Smith though. Like the far right almost like a false flag his channel, and it
Yeah.
got very close to getting banned off of YouTube. Fortunately, the
Yep.
false flag
Yeah, it's
thing on
like back
YouTube has
in
always
what
been.
is 2015, 2016. He realized he was being a douche and fixed it, and then they tried to destroy him.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah. Dusty Smith is. I can believe someone that's like was like not necessarily a far righter. Dusty Smith was never a fascist, but he was always a reactionary, or kind of was a reactionary. But then they can do the redemption of one thing. He realized in himself he was a douche and he was an asshole and didn't like the character that he was, and he changed himself. Also realizing the people that he was hanging out with, some of them were fascists. He had a problem even then. And so when he realized, like, there are Nazis invaded this place, I'm out. And so he made the change, not only for himself, and then leave. And then also, I think he also did apology videos as well for how he acted before. But I definitely see the change of character in him. So I can believe someone like redeeming themselves, but like they have to do it themselves, and they have to like actually do the process work. Just saying you're progressive is not enough as well. Um, but like but like okay, so like leaving the USA, yeah, disabled people cannot just easily start living in another place because in order to like, get a visa you have to get a job. Disabled people getting a job is difficult enough already in the place they're spawned. It's like maybe I think like one of the person that like said like no I can't like leave as it were because I'm disabled. I think it's easier if you have a relative that like lives in Canada or like is a Canadian citizen already, so like
Yep.
that
If
makes
you
it
get
easier. But
married,
then like
yeah.
yes, and there's also the green card sort of thing with marriages. It's like, but even so, then it's just like a difficult is, and like to as I said, is leaving behind the people that can't leave, and like it's just like leaving reducing the number of people that is here to fight doesn't work. So it's like, yeah, there's maybe little I can do being the belly of the beast, trying to like change like the USA from the inside out. This work again. I want to like build systems of resiliency so that like people the people here do not have to rely on capital or the state. But they were so. But what's interesting in that voice call that I was talking about, with a Swedish person that moved to Argentina and telling like the people in the North America to leave, there was an indigenous person there who was not in the USA but in Canada, and he's kind of like, "This is where I was born. This is where all my ancestors were born. We are here, but the white people came and settled on top of us, and you're telling us to leave." Because the USA was the lost cause. He's in Canada though, but like still, I think that is still poignant there. It's just like,
They
yeah,
they, they moved to Argentina. That's good.
the sweetest person.
Is Argentina? They're still tech. Are they still kind of fascist? I don't know because
They're
they really had that
If
whole
we have
war
anything to do about it, yes, they are. Well, not us,
yes,
but the
that's the
U.S.
thing. The U.S. Definitely has something to do with like Argentina still has like fascist problems. There's been a long history in Argentina that
Argentina, Peru, Brazil, Nicaragua, Ecuador,
Chile,
everyone.
Colombia, Venezuela.
Venezuela.
Yes. Uh, so. But like, so while it's like, yes, I understand the arguments that like the USA is a lost cause. It still doesn't change the fact that like A, disabled people can't move out, and B, if even the people that are able to move out and immigrate to somewhere else, that's leaving behind the people that like are going to be struggling anyway. Um, and for the indigenous people, this is their home. Period. The white people came in and conquered them and settled on top of them. The because the Dakota people and the Mohawks and many other indigenous people, the border crossed them.
saying
So
if Plymouth Rock didn't land on. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us.
mhm.
So
So that's where it's just like almost everyone else in the call kind of like that are from the U.S. Kind of push back against that the idea of like, oh, just leave is a lost cause, and like it actually really upset one person in the call because like again it's like they're like young, they were like in their 20s and they're at the time of the call or 19, and it's just like they are poor as fuck, they can't move out, and like it's difficult just to find a job for that person, let alone move to another country, especially since like whenever you move, just in general, you're cutting ties, you're you're going to move to a new place, unless you know someone there. You're going to have to like make a whole new network of friends and like people that love you and care about you, and you're going to have to start from the beginning and that sort of thing too, which can be tough on people that have like anxiety issues or like on the spectrum as it were, or like neurodiverse in some way, which many people in the call were as well. And just like making that life change in your own life of just moving to somewhere else is tough. It was tough for my older sibling when like they moved out of the home and just like was alone in the apartment by themselves, working a job and not surrounded by like family members that loved them, or even like had like a network of friends that like in the area. Eventually, he did found someone and now has a family where they are they live, but like that's still starting from new is like a problem. And if you and EMC says like resistance matters, but you have to like look at yourself too. I agree. Canada will not take you in if you are physically disabled in most cases. Yeah, exactly. And if you have chronic disability, you are unlikely to get visa. You have six-figure job, or and even then you are deemed drained on a health system. Canada won't take you in. Yeah. Exactly.
so with my disability, where do I sit with that?
I don't know about what's I don't
Well,
know
if
personally.
it's not officially diagnosed, you can pretend you don't have it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
But it's also one that doesn't
Even
require treatment. It's not like it requires medication or anything like that.
yeah, that's and so many people have been like some are successful to prove that like because of their autism, it's getting a job is difficult because job interviews suck. Period.
Hmm.
Uh, going to a place that you're totally unfamiliar. I think Linwoo has been public about this on like our Twitch channel. Going to a place that's like it's totally new, and for some people on the spectrum, is like just going to a new place that you're not used to and never been before is just terrifying experience in that in itself because you have to like be acclimated to a place in order to get used to it, and then be comfortable enough to be able in a job review like tell about yourself to a prospective like employers or like that. sharing some personal things, telling about stuff. And the thing is, like with job reviews, that's well, you have to sell yourself too, which is like when we was a communist or like a narco communist as well as like me. So it's just like,
Well,
eh,
that's why when I was taking that banking job, I
mhm,
thought I couldn't do this
mhm,
because it's like, funny enough that when I actually applied for it, the guy who was actually doing the interview sounded just like Andrew Tate. He had that really sharp, fast paced Brit Anglo English accent. I don't know how you
That's
describe that.
northern. If you
yeah,
talk
Yeah.
really fast like this, it just means you're a northerner.
Well,
yeah.
he's from Barbados. He's like a white guy
Oh.
from Barbados.
Mm.
I'll let you put those two together.
Mm.
Um,
So he's a
yeah, and
colonizer.
he was
We get that.
Mhm.
yeah, he was just saying all kinds of like weird shout, like, oh, everything you got to work for like that cliche.
Mm.
And I'm just like, I can't do this because, for one, being like on the spectrum, a minority, we never had any access to the capitalist system anyway.
Yeah.
So why are you throwing all these things out for us that we don't know about and we don't kind of care because we weren't really a part of this
Hmm.
to begin with? Because like even if you read Adam Smith, who is often called the founder of capitalism, where he said, "Oh, I think all men should privately own prop or whatever." It's like, yeah, but women and minorities and all those people didn't have those rights. So what are you talking about? All men are this or free? Because that's
I
just bullshit.
sh I should really read The Wealth of Nations for myself. And let's remember, well, Adam Smith was a professor of moral philosophy that decided to take it upon himself to write about economics as well. The AMC said in the chat, to you, Isaiah, it depends on your documentations and support slash medical needs, Isaiah, determines if to
I have
to,
I have a very mild case of autism, so
mm,
it's very
yeah.
high functioning. So I guess
Mhm.
that I don't know
Yeah,
what
well, that's the problem with like our disability systems as it is right now. I know someone I don't know if like they would like to be public about they to publicly talk about, but I'll know someone that like basically has like a physical disability, a pain in the leg or something like that, where like they cannot stand for like more than like 4 hours essentially, or physically unable to stand for more than 4 hours. The pain will get too much that they have to sit down. So it's kind of a chronic pain system like that. So and just like a chronic pain system or chronic disability like that as well is like it cannot operate on someone else's time. They don't know when they'll have the spoons or if they'll have the spoons today or anything like that. And with how work is like no, they're expecting you at this time, whatever that time is. It can be fixed for many people that work a regular job or have like a set hours of like 6:30 to 3 or like 9 to
It's like,
5.
all in all, you're just another brick in the wall.
Mhm.
all in all, you're just a
Or
the wall.
or a cog in the machine, which something my dad literally said to me, and that was supposed to be a sign of a encouraging speech or encouraging talk to me. I just like,
Mhm.
yeah,
What, what,
uh,
which sounds better? All in all, you're just another cog in the wheel, or is it
It
or
doesn't
brick
rhyme,
and
so it has to be
which?
brick in the wall.
it has to
Okay,
be breaking the wall.
okay.
And the album was called The Wall anyway. Is but like so it's so or if you're on retail and you have like these hours or these hours and these hours and those can fluctuate and can even change on a dime sometimes. It did to me, honestly.
Hey,
I showed up to my shift that's I knew it was like noon to 4 yesterday. But apparently my manager tried to call me. Oh, didn't you know? Like, yeah, I tried to call you yesterday. Your shift is you're not working noon to 4. You're working to like 1 to like 7.
maybe I can work it. Maybe if I ever got to move to Canada, maybe I could just work at a Canadian museum or something
No, if you want
like
to
they
move
have
to
like
Canada, you want to work at a Tim Hortons.
Air Force Museum.
Is oh
Tim
Tim
Hortons,
Hortons.
if you don't know, is the Canadian Waffle House.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think Thoughts Live had like a video from a long time ago about like their first job as were, which was a Tim
Tim
Hortons
Hortons is
too.
where you get someone from the deep north taking a poop on the floor because they're angry.
That's true. That's true. Oh,
Oh, well done,
so,
Bacon. Well done. You came up with a rhyme.
So
what I mean is, you're just a cog in a machine. Okay, that works. No, that does work. Yeah, well done, Radical Bacon. Um, okay, so yeah, so again, my friend like not only has like chronic pain issue, they also have a headache that seemingly doesn't go away. But like, but they try to like, and also have like mental illness and depression. If you can stand like that for 10 minutes or 100 feet, you're not acknowledged as disabled. Yeah, EMC, exactly. So that's the experience of my friend as well. Like, and they have depression, they have health issues as it were, but yet this kind of like when they try
Getting
to,
cut
in
up
most
to deal
cases,
with
yeah,
it.
and when they try to like apply for disability, they're denied. They're often denied. A lot of people are often denied. Phoenix shared this on like their Twitter like
I
the other
actually
day.
just got my disability, well, not disability money, but I got my unemployment benefits now.
Mm, nice. It's good that you're able to get that. In Virginia, the nearest like Tim Hortons is in like a Norfolk Naval Base. Wow, I don't even know where that is.
And
It's
every
it's in
couple
North.
of every once in a while they'll drop a load of semen in there. Yeah.
As in like as in the naval officer seaman. Get your mind out of the gutters, everyone else.
Seamen are not officers. That's okay. Seamen is for they're ordinary seamen. Okay, that's God.
Enlisted men, I guess. That's what it is. Enlisted
Yes,
men, I
that
think.
that's what seamen.
uh, so yeah, and so in the case is so yeah, Phoenix was denied her application for SSDI disability because like she didn't get like a medical prescription for her mobility walker, her mobility aid. The reason why she didn't get the prescription from the doctor because the doctor just looked at her and said, "Why don't you try exercising?" Everything hurts when she
You're
tries to
fat. You're
exercise. So
black. I'm not gonna give you shit.
yeah. So that's why I give Phoenix money if you have the chance to or
Mm.
have the ability to. Yeah, but that's it. And so yeah, it kind of gets connected to everything. So that's why I'm not moving out of the USA because I'm trying to like help people. Some seamen are women. That's very true. Radical
Hmm.
bacon. Some seamen are women.
From
But yeah,
I think honestly that the Navy should just change it from seaman to seaple.
yeah. See people.
No,
See
seaple.
men plus see
Seaple.
seeple. Seaple.
Because
See
sea
men
people,
plus
it would
see
cause
people.
trauma for survivors of the Bronze Age collapse. I mean, I know it was 1177 BC, but we should show sympathy for the survivors of the Bronze Age
Yeah.
collapse.
Yeah, it's like, so I don't have a good segue for this, but Isaiah, you want to like have a debate about like teaching financial literacy to like people?
Yes. How do you guys think we should teach? Do you think we should teach financial literacy?
No, we should have
I'm curious.
communism.
Uh,
But
well,
the
that is
fact is
honestly
that
part of my answer.
financial literacy, I don't know how much it matters to the working class, to most of the
Yeah.
working class, because like most people are going to be underwater, and it's just going to get worse as time moves forward. So-called financial literacy usually just means how to starve more slowly, is what it feels like.
Hmm.
Whenever I hear about financial literacy, I feel like going to be a very class
Hmm.
issue. It's going to be very classist. It's obviously going to be like taught to like people who are poor because
Hmm.
I guess we have this view that poor people are just poor because they either are just cursed being born poor or they just I guess didn't make the best
It's
money
eugenics.
decision.
Hmm.
It's what?
Eugenics.
Yeah.
Hmm. What?
I just
Um,
feel like that's a problem. No one's gonna teach it in the sense of helping you. It's going to be like admonishing you or something, or saying that you should not do this, and so I don't really see really any benefit out of it.
I mean, again, it's just like Joanna sometimes gets money from like her mother, but then her mother kind of like does like give a moralizing advice about like saving money as it were. But just like when your expenses are like 2,000 and yet you only get 1,400, again, you're always going to be at like negative 600 each month, and that's just going to add up over time. You're gonna have to, like that's why she has to rely on like begging for online to in order to live and for like as long as I know her, which was like I met her in 2017,
Hmm.
summer 2017. So
I mean,
And
the financial literacy they would teach to the poor is never spend money, be glad you're allowed to have a job, peasant. And then the
yeah,
financial
yeah,
literacy they would teach to the the PMC, the private managerial class would be just keep on buying houses and renting them
yeah,
out and charging, for rent, mortgage plus 500.
and because of like you have to like continue buy houses to stimulate the economy too. EMC says like financial literacy isn't functionally teachable as a curriculum. There I did in high school, maybe in middle school too. No, in high school. Independent living was a extracurriculum, so it wasn't required. Some form of extracurricular and some form was required, and I think that was like counted as a cooking one because we did cook in that class, independent living, and so you can choose to take class on independent living, which like shows you how to write a check, how to tie for a job interview, and also like learn how to cook for yourself. Which actually that is a functionally useful like thing to teach, is like knowing how to cook is work. Because if you can't cook, how can you eat? But the many disabled people as work, they don't have the spoons to cook, and there's always like complications with their disability of like cooking as well. That it's kind of like be almost dangerous for some of them to try to cook because they can't hold pots and pans so that well, and when their disability acts up and their like fingers are locking or that sort of thing too, or they have the pain in their joints too, it would be actually they can't like stand for like too long and be able to cook on the stove as it were. So that's fine for like many of them. They need the more money just for like DoorDash or like Uber Eats and all those fines and fees like there because it's just, and with the rising cost of everything because of inflation, it's just like a delinquent said this on their stream one time. It's like their mother filled this sorry for themselves, said, "Here's $25. Go and order a pizza." Okay, we'll get a frozen pizza from the grocery store and some other things as well. No, order a pizza, order delivery pizza. That way you come directly to you. Don't have to like go to the store and like get a frozen pizza. Yeah, $25 is not enough.
but
Why?
basically, I agree.
How much do you need for the delivery of how much do you need for a delivery pizza? Like $40 now. It's like, oh, okay, then yeah, go just like to the store and get a frozen pizza then. Because like
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree with John. It's for like poor people. It's gonna simply just be don't spend money and be happy you got a job, and I guess save up money for something.
I
Mhm.
can't wait till they bring
Yeah.
back factory towns and corporate script.
I sold my soul to the I owe my soul to the company store.
You almost got the tune right on that one. Well done.
Yeah, I was trying to like imitate the voice as well.
On
that's how I do
St.
my
Peter,
singing.
'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store.
Yeah, because like, I mean,
Man,
Amazon's
Facebook
almost close
really
to
wants
that.
me to shave my balls.
That's such a non sequitur right there.
Well, I scroll through Facebook and Reddit looking for the occasional news story or something, and the ad for a thing came up. It's something that they've been throwing at me for a while. I've got bad news for fans of Supernatural. Um, Mark Pellegrino, the guy who played Lucifer on that show, turns out he's a douchebag. We got
Okay.
us a Reddit post, not Reddit. Well, this is a Reddit post, but he got him talking on Twitter. Bigots suck, but wealth bigots are a special kind of suck. Twit pirate, whatever that is. Pellegrino. A wealth bigot hates rich people because they are rich. He also assumes a wealthy person does bad things to get wealthy and naturally only got rich by making others poor. Which, yeah, yeah, those things are all true. In other words, he's a capitalist, anti-communist douche. Which
Okay.
means that you can't go back and watch your queer baiting incest show. Um, at least, for the first 5 seasons. You can watch, seasons like 7 through 25 or whatever.
Isn't that like a some PCA injection that you're seeking so enforced? Like injunction. Okay, that's right.
No, it's
I
not
read
the
that.
SPCA. It's just PETA. So we don't really care about them. The ASPCA just says he's not allowed to sing on movie sets.
It's not a movie set, as were. All right, even though we do these like live streams and featured like about 90 minutes is worth, this is not a movie. I'm sorry, we're not a movie. I am an actor, but this is not a movie.
We should start doing.
I don't know. I've been trained in commercial acting in bed so well too. I know how to do the bobblehead. You can manscape ugly body hair too. That's true, EMC. That's very true. The grooming is very important in a lot of ways.
I actually liked working on a movie set. I worked on a movie set one time and I really liked it.
That's right, because you did graduate from film school.
But I've never I've asked these people, can they like let me back? Can I do something with them again? But they've never gotten back with me, so I don't.
That's maybe sometimes because they don't have a project as well.
Well,
Or
they have projects. They just didn't invite me back.
I don't know then. Honestly, I just like to know.
I would say though, I think it was something I did. I don't know. I don't. I don't really jive with a lot of people my age. I guess.
Hmm.
I don't. I don't know. I guess I'm just not cool and hip.
That's
I
because you're
guess.
secretly a '90s girl. We get it.
So,
Um,
I don't know. Hmm.
yeah, I don't know either. I guess I'm just a. I guess I'm just a
I mean, it
loser.
could
I
be a
don't know.
small-scale film crew, and they just prefer their little circle,
Or or they don't have a budget to be able to like hire you back either.
or they're
So
white
there's
supremacists. You never know.
Well, they weren't white supremacists, that's for sure. But
I was being
but
mildly
there
yeah,
can
facetious with that one, but
yeah, I know. I don't know. Maybe like you said, maybe they just want their own thing.
well, I don't know because
Funny enough, I actually felt like I was actually part of their community for a moment.
I don't know. It's like there's some sometimes our brains are our own worst enemies in a lot of ways because like it's easier for us to believe that like oh they didn't let me back because they just don't like me or don't jive with you. But like when they're not selling anything whatsoever, then like who knows? And like sometimes it could be like all these other reasons, but like it's so easy for our brains to just grizzly catastrophize and to say it must be this as the word. It must because they
Also,
don't like.
well, I also think too, it's our past because in the
Mhm.
past I've always just felt like I never was really hip and cool with people. So it
Mhm.
could be like the paranoia from that, just being like, oh, I guess they just
Yeah.
didn't like you for some reason. All right.
Yeah, I mean that's why like Little Quinn on their stream has like always like often apologize and always say it's like Wiki says a classical says he's a classical liberal, so that's what it says a lot about him. Yeah, whenever someone says a classical liberal, that's pretty much like I guess again with the word liberal, it's
it
somehow
means that they
like
really, really, really want to be slave owners.
yeah, that's what John Locke was. Yeah. Uh, and because like that's what real liberalism is, like the ideology of like state plus capitalism. That's what John Locke would like to talk about a lot. And so yeah, and that's what and Murray Rothbard was kind of like always like and how like liberal became like to mean someone's like slightly progressive in some ways or slightly to the left of like Sauron. Because that's why those like people start like distinguish themselves from those kind of liberals by saying they're classical liberals because they want classical John Locke liberalism, 1700 liberalism, again owning slaves. So where was I going before that? I forgot.
To hell,
Our brains can.
because you're a communist.
Well, oh, I am going to hell. So, like, whenever people are saying, I want to save you, it's like, no, no, no. I am going to hell. I plan to go to hell. That's my destination. Because, like, when I go to hell, I have a job to do. I'm going to be like Doomslayer trying to find Margaret Thatcher or Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, I don't
You're
mind going to
colonizing
hell.
hell? Okay, white guy.
I don't mind the hell either. I think heaven kind of sucks, even though my mom is probably up there. I've always joked that heaven is like it's a hospice. It's like TV Land is on, and we're watching Bridge Over the River Kwai. The orderlies bring in like your lunch, which is like some pills and some applesauce with like those tiny little cans of like soda, and that's basically what heaven is. It's just boring breakfast, and we can't watch any of the other classic movies because they have, heaven forbid, we see Marilyn Monroe gyrating her hips a bit.
uh Sauron, Radical Bacon, not Sargon as well. Even though Sargon sees himself as a classical liberal as well, but Sauron, they got the big magic floating like burning eye as well.
Look,
And
Sauron was awesome. He was an ally to the Black Orcs. He was trying to kill all the white elves. Come on. He was the good guy.
nah, nah. Ew, he has an Ayn Rand fanboy channel on
Oh,
YouTube.
he just keeps getting worse.
Yeah, just like ah. But
Talking
until I've
about
never seen
Pellegrino, by the way.
the actor from Lucifer. Um,
Isn't that the name of a wine?
uh,
Oh, no, it's sparkling water.
yeah. I don't know. Um, it's so yeah. Isaiah, don't worry. Don't like be too hard on yourself. Like I don't know why like you haven't like been asked back to like the set or like a film crew or something like that. Like
I mean, I'm not. I mean, I guess I am, but I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care. See, that's another thing, I guess, about being black and oppression. Like you don't like sweat the small shit. You're just like, all right, they didn't invite me back. Just whatever.
You
I
just
guess it
wonder why those
was.
two white guys are following you as you walk down the street. I get it.
well, honestly, some of those paranoias are actually legitimately are legitimate paranoias they have for being a black person in America. Yes, that's for
Right.
sure. Black person in the USA.
I've been watching Jerry Springer. Well, reruns of Jerry Springer. I've been doing that,
Mm.
especially with the theme song. So
I I have seen some sequences of Jerry Springer as where I don't know if I watch a full episode this where. Also, he's a co-founder of the American Capitalist Party. Wow, just was like I don't know if that makes it worse or just like adds it to
Oh,
the
no, that's
pile.
just
It's
sad.
like, that's just that's sad, yeah.
Because, I mean, we already have the
S-
Republican Party and the Democrats
mhm.
and
Yeah.
the government.
Yes,
We don't
exactly.
need that.
No, we don't need more. What else was I was about to say? I forgot. I don't know. It's close to the end of the show anyway.
I'm about to go buy some fish.
Fish. That's a lot of fish. That's where. I wish I could like enjoy fish, but unfortunately, I think I'm allergic to like fish. I definitely been proven to be allergic to, been tested for cod's salmon.
Have you ever been to Pike Place Supermarket?
I have no, but the field trip is I honestly after I get off of work, I can easily just walk there too. Take a bus and just like walk there too, and it's like yeah, it's kind of cool, but I can eat over the stuff from there too. But unfortunately, I'm allergic to salmon, cod, and like tuna for sure, and like which unfortunately means like most fish products I can't eat without like, getting at least a mild allergic reaction to. And so that sucks. I sang like Christmas carols at Jerry Springer's house. Nice. Okay.
White Christmas.
It's interesting. Oh my God, White Christmas, that movie. I didn't finish watching all of it, honestly. But I'm just like, where are the black people in this movie?
Well, it's White Christmas for a reason.
Exactly. And I like some Dean Kane's work. He was like again the Corchester's classic movie.
Have you guys
Hey,
heard that? Have you guys heard that song called "It's a Nice Day for a White Wedding"? Have you guys heard that song?
Billy Joel, yes, yeah,
Yes.
that's no Billy Idol. Yeah, Billy
Yeah, I
Idol.
was
Billy Joel
about to
does like
say.
Allentown and like Piano Man. No, Billy Idol has done White Wedding, and that's a great song too. Is it?
I would always say it's a nice day for a black wedding.
It's a nice day to start again.
To jump over the broom. It's a nice day for a black wedding.
No, Billy Idol also did like a Rebel Yell and Dancing with Myself, and he was a part of a band before that. I just forgot the name of it. Was where. But anyway,
Do you guys think I am hard on myself?
Yep.
I mean, I think he can be, but I think that's also part of your autism too. But also part of the trauma that you grew up with as well.
Mhm.
Again, like I was about to say about Lidoquin, they always apologize for a lot of things, or it's like sorry for a lot of things. I have to like constantly tell them like no sorry, and sometimes I ask them, like why do you feel sorry about that? And the truth is that like she had horrible friends that like she
Why
was great.
do why do I feel sorry all the time? I'm starting to be like, fuck people. I like my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Take care, like
Christmas in
EMC.
heaven, there's great films on TV. The Sound of Music, twice an hour, and Jaws 1, 2, and 3. There's gifts for all the families, there's toiletries and games.
It's a nice day for a
A
Jewish
Jewish
wedding.
wedding. Nice day to
It's
smash
nice
the
to
glass.
say to smash the glass. uh, so yeah, I don't know if I think like ending on like remembering that Billy Idol exists and he has some pretty good songs from the '80s. That's where it's a good way to like close out the show. But like
Unfortunately, he
Isaiah,
was in
I'm
an
just
Adam Sandler movie, so.
Yes.
oh,
Yes.
there's that too. Isaiah, I'm disappointed in you. You brought up Bill Idol. You were supposed to be like a white girl from the '90s. Why bring up an '80s singer who's a man?
I like music from all eras. Yeah.
Uh, He was the
We all
voice actor
know
for
that in
Far
your
Cry.
heart of hearts, that white girl inside you wishes she could date Dave Coulion.
Yeah.
He was a voice actor in Far Cry 5. I never played that game, but isn't the Far Cry games in the world about a world falling apart by war and capitalism? Far Cry 5 is an interesting one too,
Isn't that the
because
one about the
it's
cult
like
guy?
yes, about the cult guy in rural America too.
Mm.
The totally apolitical game. And even Ubisoft, the terrible, absolute terrible company of Ubisoft that tries to be apolitical, but yet has very political messaging in their games. And that game was also had a lot of politics in it, and also egregious with the politics because they tried to play both sides, saying that the snowflake liberals are like the all equally as bad for the cancel culture or something like that, according to the game. And it's just like it's kind of interesting. One of the quests was actually like was called like a war on drugs, and it's like my friend was streaming it, but they were also co-streaming it with like their friend too. A friend says no politics whatsoever on his channel, but says that he's like in between Biden and Trump politically, and has some friends that are good people that have to be Trump supporters. Yeah, fun enough. I was kicked out of his Discord server. That's like trying to like, but like they one of the quests was like war on drugs, and it's just like I'm so trying not to mention about the politics and all the things about the war on drugs. Yeah, just like that was the last time my friend started streaming. They also on their channel was they're co-streaming with their friend. Because if it was not me, it was something I was pointing out the politics in the game as well. Far Cry. I know. I don't know if I would play like Ubisoft game now or even on my channel as where now because of Ubisoft for what they've done, all the terrible things, and like they did far worse things than Andrew Torres did as well, and like knew about like far worse things and kept those people around. So fuck Ubisoft is where no, don't fuck Ubisoft. They don't deserve that loving. So yeah, and then, as Steve Jobs has said, it's very easy not to buy a video game. Come on, there are other video games from other companies that you can buy, and I'm sure there's other like far like games that you can buy too. let's end the show there. Isaiah Taylor has his own YouTube channel, two of his own YouTube channels, actually, Sinister Intelligence and the Autistic Modeling Society. Both links should be down in the description below. And Isaiah Taylor has his own Instagram too, Cult Culture 92. Check that out for like pictures of like his model ships and like his cosplay. That's very cool stuff. Summer and Geek on Twitter, Summer and Geek on co-host, Summer and Geek on Tumblr, Summer and Geek on YouTube. I haven't posted a video in like 4 years, in 4 months though. And Summer and Geek on Twitch. I'll be like Twitch streaming after we get off here. And don't forget charitylinks.page, as I mentioned before. There's a lot of links to like to Linnequin, to Nasty Echo, and to like Joanna, and to like Phoenix are there in charitylinks.page. If you have the extra money, please help out those people there. John Brockman, you're part of another podcast, aren't you?
Indeed, I am. Dungeons and Debacles. We're not cops. Well, we are cops, but we're not killing civilians at the moment. A lot of fun. Very different from this. And we may update at some point.
And before I forget, I forgot last week too. I wish to thank our patrons. I can go off the top of my head and remember. Thank you to Flora, Aaron, Eli, Vonrak, Tim, Marty, Joe McClory, um, the Fuck Boys, me and like a Mehmet, Stat Noise, and I think that's it.
I think so too.
I think. And also next week is the second Sunday of the month, so next week will be the Patreon show. So Joe McClory, Eli, maybe Tim, maybe Ron, or maybe someone else entirely can like join it. Anyone that's our patrons can join the voice call next week on the next Sunday for our Patreon show. If we all things provided, all things and working in time, I don't cancel it because John Brockman was 14 minutes late, or John Brockman's not sick for whatever reason, as it were. So, like, provided all things go well, next Sunday will be Patreon show. So, take care of yourselves. Don't forget to practice self care, hydrate, medicate.
And don't forget to
Stay
take
awesome,
that
my
jagged
friends.
little pill.